Hi guys, I'm ExactChaos and welcome back to another episode of Cities Skylines Exactville. Okay, so in the last episode we finished off this lovely piece of construction over here. Yeah, that's pretty good. All in all, pretty good. So this is our interchange into our new industrial area, the oil fields over here. So we've kind of appeased a big chunk of the industrial demand, and we can already see that we're dying for some new workers over here. We've also taken out this bridge and actually routed the rail line a lot much more gradually through this interchange that we've got over here to kind of slope gradually to the rail station over there. Okay, so in this episode we will do a little bit more fill in over here and see about getting this area a little bit more kind of filled up. It looks a little bit funny at the moment, but actually it would look similar to this in reality, whereby there is lots of open areas left for roads to be expanded as required. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend this area and just work on the linear extent of it over here, potentially see about hooking up this cable car system with a kind of residential area down here, and then we will definitely start looking at public transport along this linear city. Then we will start doing the real proper public transport systems and not just the token ones we've got going at the moment. Okay, so let's get cracking on that straight away. Over here, I think this smaller area over here would do quite well as a bit of a commercial district. So let me do that, and I'm going to go with the high density. Yeah, shall we do over there? Shall I just do that? So let's just fill that one in there. Oh, of course, we need to make sure that we've got our utilities running. So the main road will have a utility connection that is running along. The snapping on these is a bit funny. I actually don't want snapping for the roads. Actually, that's fine. This is going to be much better. Now I can actually get the the pipes in the location that you would typically see them, which is right on the side of the road. There we go. Nice. Okay, that's probably going to be a problem. Like so, like so, like so, and like so. Maybe not quite up there, but for good measure. Okay, so this is starting to fill in a little bit. We definitely need to look at in additional. Oh, we've also got a bit of a problem with power, and at the same time I want to take out this. This was a temporary measure. We've got underground connections between these areas, so no need for the high suspension of areas or high suspension cables. The other thing I was thinking about is that since we've got this linear river running around, we could also do a bit of a ferry system that works up and down here. That would be quite quick. Okay, let's get some temporary power to these guys. Yeah, let's get some temporary power, see if that helps us out. It's temporary, I'm going to definitely remove that as soon as this is nice and settled. Good stuff. That's doing well. Okay, now, what are we going to do in this area over here? And there's something else that I'm thinking about on this side too, but we'll get to that. I've got so many ideas for this, and I'm just kind of struggling to just get into it. Is there anything here that we need to switch on or off? No, that's fine. Okay, so let's get into this area. I am thinking that I am going to spur it off on that side. Again, just with the standard road. I would like to see a bit of traffic before we really go into the expansion of the roads. It's just realistic that it's only small roads at the moment until such time as we need the big roads. Oh, and the other thing is I've got to add a comment about the pedestrian bridges over here. I'll do a little something on that shortly as well. So I'm going to run it through there. Is snapping now switched off? Yeah, so I've got to go back and forth with this snapping thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do a little bit of a grid over here. Just a bit of a grid, because it's so nice and square. It's going to be difficult to do much that is not in a grid, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bit of a grid like this. I'm going to do that. I am going to see about getting this grid just well sized. Actually, I'm going to stop that. What I'm going to do is, because it's so nice and long, it's probably a good place for us to add an extra tile that can be used for like a pedestrian path all the way up the middle. And I'm going to do the same over here. So see, the grid pattern on this side is really a good idea in my mind. Something like that is a good idea because it's just so space efficient in this instance. I'm definitely not going to stick to grids, so don't worry about that, but this area just kind of puts itself out to be a good grid. And I actually, what I think is going to work quite well is if I tie in a bit of a, actually let's start with a straight section over here. It's like something like that, and a straight section on this one. Perfect. And now we'll just hook it up over there with a nice curve. Okay, fine, that's good. So that works out well as a bit of a grid in here, a grid shape out of a different shape, to be honest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of a commercial precinct in here. Do we have something like a mall or something like that? I'm definitely sure we did. The other thing we probably need to leave some space for is some of the not ferries, but some of the kind of monorail stuff. But the monorail, I think I'm ultimately going to be running along these main roads, and not necessarily through the town areas. I was looking for something like a mall or so. Let's see over here. Pretty sure that we had some of those kind of things. Oh, that's a bit of a statue. This is a mall of moderation, and it fits in there quite well. I do like that idea of squeezing it in here between two distinct residential zones. Yeah, I'm gonna pop it right in there. Okay, so we've got the mall of moderation popped in. So we've got a mall out here, and then there'll be some more high density residential and a little bit of more commercial around this, I think. Yeah, let me do along the sides of the mall, I'm going to do a little bit of lower density commercial to sort out the area. We also have a bit of a problem with water not being connected through here, so let's switch off this snapping, and what we'll do is we will run it through here along the side of this road. Right, that is pretty good. On the other hand, we will link it through there and run it along the side of this road, and that will link it up nicely over there. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, so that's in and happening. Now let's see about some. Let's just double check to see about services. Let's do a bit of a crematorium over there and other services. Where is our latest hospital? Quite far away, and I do think it is about time for us to establish a pretty large and significant hospital over here. Right, that is pretty decent. Our money is good, we can accommodate that. Let's see about fire coverage. We've got something fairly nearby, but it's on the smaller side. Shall we do something like this, a little bit of a larger firehouse over here? Actually, I'm wondering whether we shouldn't move this one into this area, so it's a little bit closer to the hills as well. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. I think that will be fine. A bit of a firehouse over there. That should sort out that. And then the next thing we need to do is look at what is happening with police. So we've got a police station, a pretty sizable police station over there. It's just not actually connecting well to this side of the road, but I think we will still look at further connections in this general vicinity. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I don't want this to get too monotonous. So the whole thing, I think this one will go over the top here. Alright, and then that one will curve and come this way, and we'll probably tie in those into it like this. So this will be a bit of a big chunk of high density in the center of the city. Okay, so let's have a look. I want to start by putting in the pathways, just so that we've got all of that running. And I'm not snapping at the moment, but I don't want to snap because it does funny things at the side of the road. So I just want to make sure we start it in like this block here, and we run it all the way like this, nice and central. I like the idea of doing that. I want to do the same thing on this side. I run it all the way through like so. There we go. Additionally, I want to make a few extra connections to it, especially in this area over here. So I would like to link that up and take that straight through there. I want to link it up again on this side and straight through there. So what this would do is it'll allow a pedestrian connection straight through this area, while vehicle connections has to go around. In addition to that, I would definitely like to implement a pedestrian crossing there, so that is looking pretty fine as a connected network. Now I'm gonna pop in our first set of high density residential areas, and you can see a nice and efficient block. I might do some commercial along the sides of this. I think that would actually do well. And we've got the mall obviously there in the middle between the two. And I am thinking that, but we don't actually have access to it on this side, but what you would have is you would actually also have a bit of a pedestrian walkway through here, providing access to the back of the mall. Yeah, it could it'll even connect up there. It should even connect up there. So I'll do that, and I will, oh no, too close. A little bit more, a little bit less, something. Oh, still a problem. Much less then. Oh, what? There we go. Just something like that. Perfect. So we've got a little bit of a through movement on that side. That's pretty good. Okay, now we're starting to see some growth happening over here. Definitely a little bit of demand for that. We probably need to think about some additional connections through, but I think that's okay for now. We'll just fill that in as we go. Okay, good stuff. Now the next thing I want to do is work on these pedestrian bridges. So what would happen is you could actually link up and use this pedestrian area, connect this to that, and I think that's probably a good idea. So we could have a bit of a ramp up there, so you can use this and ramp back down here. I think that would work very well. Alternatively, if we turn this around, I think I've got some assets over here that would work extremely well in this area. Where are they? Here they are. So these are like pedestrian overpass things. Okay, so what is this? Left, right, between, right? Pedestrian overpass. Okay, so how does that to the back like this? Slope too steep. I need to put on switch on anarchy for this to actually work. So this is a 9 meter, and on the other side we can get okay, so switch on anarchy, we'll pop that in there. I want like a 6 meter one on the other side. Do I have more? Are those the only ones? That's interesting. So I only have the 1 6 meter version. Do I? Yeah, I only have the 1 6 meter version, which I will switch on this side. Okay, something like so, because it's higher on that side, so you need a bit of a lower one to work with. Ooh, maybe a little bit too low, but anyway, let's see about that. So yes, I know that those slopes in there are significant, but what this is supposed to be is a bit of a stairwell and stairwell and elevator connection, and then what we'll do is we'll just pop in something like that. Does that look decent? I think that looks fine actually. I think that looks fine, and it quite works well with the slopes that we've got over there. Okay, the other option we obviously had was to, and I'm switching off anarchy, was to link this up to this road, and I'm not too sure how that works on a bridge arrangement. I must say I've never really made use of it. So let me just get it up to the kind of 0 level, and this doesn't actually connect onto it, does it? If I, okay, let's hang on, let's get it to the bridge level over here, which I believe should be around 12, 11, 12. If I do that, can that work? If I have it just next to it like that, no, it won't actually work. Which is interesting. It's really interesting, because you, in reality, what you would do, you wouldn't necessarily build this an additional bridge in this area. You would actually just do a, you would actually just link it up there, make it part of the same construction, and bring it back down. So what I'm going to do is I am going to well, bring it down a little bit, something like that. Run it on to that side, like so. Yeah, that's okay. And then what we'll do is we will actually pop it down nice and gradually, like this. I'm hoping that is gradual enough. It looks fairly gradual. I'm not too sure about the exact slope, but of course, if you want people with wheelchairs and so on to make use of it, it needs to be nice and gradual. So we've got that like that. So that's the other option for it. If we've got a pedestrian like ramp, bridge, overpass thing over there, we've got the stairwells possibility, stairwells and elevators, and if we've got a bit more room, we've got the standard slope set up like that. So I'll do that. So, and I'm going to keep them because the one is kind of access close to the station and straight in and out from this side, and the other one is a bit more access to this side on, and provides a little bit more of a wheelchair friendly environment. What I'm going to do is I am going to do a bit more commercial, just along small pieces of commercial just along here, just to kind of fill in that line. Typically lines like that does get filled with it's in between buildings, it's at the back of buildings and things like that. It becomes a little bit of a blighted environment. But what does happen is that yeah, typically the rail right of ways aren't used to expand significantly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in an additional I'm going to pop in an additional one of these guys. Okay, oh yes, I need anarchy switched on to do that. Maybe not that one, maybe this one, like so. Yeah, I'm liking that as an option. I'm going to put the one anarchy over there, and then I'll just put the one at the back over there. That'll link up nicely in my mind. Yeah, okay, good stuff. And let me link them up. Yeah, that works well. That works very well. That works very well. Good stuff. So we've got an extra connection on this side all over the rail, so we don't have any stuff happening with the rail, and that actually provides a bit of a walking link all the way to that side. What I also need is to pop in, let's switch off anarchy, is to put in a pedestrian crossing right there to be able to have people access it from both sides. So that's our pedestrian connections in this area, working quite well. This is filling up nicely. We've still got demand for pretty much everything. I might do a bit of an office arrangement over there as well. This office extension is not looking very great at the moment. I'm wondering about filling in a little bit more, but we actually don't want to fill in too much. What I am actually going to do is I'm going to have a quick look at what our zoning is like over here. So what I can definitely do is fill up our office environment like such. Yeah, I'm going to do that side, and then I will try and get a bit more commercial on the other side too. Is this low density though? How do I know the difference? Yeah, that's definitely low density, I think, and I think I'm gonna maintain low density in front of the river bank. Okay, just because it's so we could have a nice terraced environment where we've got buildings of various heights stepping down, with all maintaining their view of the river. This area would have actually made a very nice spot for a bridge with its little bit of a head over here, and that side too. The other one is over here, of course, where we're just going to extend this one through and connect on that side. And we are starting to see a fair bit of traffic happening right over here. Let me speed this up a little bit. How's the rest of our traffic operation doing? I think it's all still working very nicely. We're getting over here. This will probably start to get busy now. We can clearly see that one of our next operations should be to upgrade over here. That one is a fairly minor movement, and I am wondering a little bit about actually closing some of these down. You wouldn't see this on a highway, so this is an arrangement when the highway is not busy, almost a rural highway type of arrangement. It's not something that you would see in practice really, and it's not even signalized either. To be honest, yes, so let's do that. Let's signalize it in order to make it work like an actual facility, and then we'll very quickly see that it is indeed not a feasible type of arrangement. We need to signalize all of these, because in reality you will have these things signalized. Okay, so there we go. So all of them are signalized now. Not all of them. I need to signalize this one as well, like that and like that, and like that and like that. So all of them are now signalized. This is like a U-turn arrangement. We're not going to signalize that one because it's also not quite busy. This is getting quite busy too. I keep pressing that escape button over there. Okay, excellent. So now we'll very quickly start seeing problematic intersections over here, because yes, exactly that. Exactly that. Okay, well, I am happy with it doing that at the moment. The next thing that you would see off of roads like this is service road arrangements. But I'm not going to do it because this is really going to be our main highway. So we're going to avoid service roads until the very end, where we maybe provide a little bit of a connection on there, so people can get in over this side, maybe even get out. Especially if that gets quite busy. Okay, this is looking nice. What I also want to do is link up these. So let me get a bit of a pedestrian connection going. I'm going to link it up like this, so it's nice and easy to walk everywhere. What happened on this side? I did put a connection through there. There's room for a connection at the back there, but we didn't actually build it, and we don't have any connections to it, so I think that's not going to work. The rest is just pretty much there. I don't think we need the connection, but at the very least what we do need as a connection is this, like so, and like that, yeah. And then what I'll do is I will connect it up like that. So that's gonna be our connection onto the street there, and this is a very, very nice spot for a bus stop. So the buses can maintain on the high-speed areas without actually having to worry about what's going on in here, getting stuck in the traffic and the like. Okay, I think things are starting to look very nice here. I want to add some office to this stretch, as I am very fond of mixed-use environments. I think they work very well. So I will do a bit of an office arrangement, and I'm going to trim that back. Just too late. You don't want this to get too close to the intersections, because the intersections is where you would do upgrades. There's a bit of a, what you would see in a right-of-way is a little bit of a diagonal chamfer like that, kept open for utilities and other upgrades, localized upgrades to the junctions. Not that we can necessarily do localized upgrades on streets like this, but for the sake of doing it, I will, or for the sake of realism, I will maintain them. Also, the other reason for that, for the chamfer, is so that you can actually see around the corner. If you go here, wow, something just exploded. If you go here, right, and you're coming along here, you can't actually see around that, so that's another reason why there's a bit of a chamfer typically there, so that you've got a little more of a sight line for the car, so you can see them before they're actually right there, right? So you have a bit more room in doing that. Okay, so let's so we've extended a bit of office space in there. This area is going to work quite nicely for some public transport runs up and down. Yeah, actually this is going to be a very nice and linear public transport run. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this and just clean out this, which I've ooh, let's just get a bit of a bigger one here, select the level, and we'll just clean that out. Yeah, the one that I created for this bridge, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but that's pretty good. I'll clean out this one a little bit, just so that it looks a little bit nicer, but that's okay. That's fine. Remnants of what it was. How is this doing? Yeah, we're getting tons of traffic over here. I like it. Being realistic does give us a lot of opportunities to fix things, so we're definitely going to have to do this. Is going to be our next kind of expressway interchange over here, and if I put the topo on, we'll see that we're kind of on a ridge over here, so that's going to be an interesting build right there. Let me switch that back off again, and let's extend this out a little bit more. I want to get it nice and busy. Yeah, I want to really get it nice and busy. That's about another good stretch there. Wow, look at that, a bit of a gap there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop in some more walkways, just to make sure that there's plenty of connections onto this. And like so, good stuff. On that side, I'm going to do the same, and I'll do the same over there. Perfect. So just to make sure we've got plenty of connections on there, I want to make sure that we maintain good pedestrian connectivity, because if you've got a nice and dense residential environment like you do over here, you would typically have lots of little pieces of infrastructure like that. Okay, so that I think is okay for now. I think one of our next projects will be to look at the interchanges on this road. That is definitely a massive thing. So this is most certainly going to be our very next project, and I will do that in the next episode. So guys, I'm ExactChaos. This has been Cities Skylines Exactly. We're playing Exactville. If you like this episode, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Bye bye.